on the case? What do you think?
Well, I think it's a sad day because Casey's not going to have a nicer guy behind the bench. He was the fairest guy in the whole circuit. I think what are there 42 judges? So now there's just 41 that I thought to pick from, but I guess Belvin's taking it. And Belvin's pretty tough.
Do you think the defense is happy with the decision?
I don't really care, to be honest with you. I think the defense rolled the dice, and this is what they're going to end up with. I think the dice fell off the table.
They weren't happy with you.
Well, you know what? No, they weren't. I don't know why. I think they used me as a scapegoat. Only as a scapegoat because if you read my blog, I didn't say anything real on the Casey Anthony Must Die post. What I was doing is I was making fun of blog people they're yelling and screaming like the mobs that are rushing up the hill, in the Frankenstein movie with torches to burn down the castle. That's what it was all about. So, but they took it out of context completely.
Did you ever have lunch with the judge? We heard some rumors that maybe you did, or.
Well, I don't even want to go there. I'm not going to comment on that.
We heard you had lunch with Judge Strickland last week.
Well, I've heard that people, I asked people, I got a guy asked me about that, and I said, who told you? He said, I can't tell you that. And I said, well, then I can't tell you either.
Can you tell me, did you have lunch with Judge Strickland last week?
No, I'm not going to answer that. I just don't want to answer that. It doesn't matter, I don't want to talk about. So, if he stepped down, it doesn't matter whether I had lunch with him or not, correct?
Some would say the relationship's a little weird.
Why?
Oh, a blogger having lunch with a judge?
But the thing is, we had, when he called me up in front of the court, and he said in his ruling exactly why he did it, because I was fair.
If you didn't have lunch with the judge, though, why won't you just come out and say, I didn't have lunch with the judge?
Well, I can say that I didn't have lunch with the judge, and I can say that I did have lunch with the judge. It wouldn't matter. The guy's not part of the equation any longer. So I don't know why it's an important issue.
Some would just say your relationship as a blogger with the judge in this case is a little bizarre.
Dave, you can't deny it.
Well, you know what? Why it's bizarre is because Jose Baez and Cheney Mason made it bizarre by saying that the judge was courting me. You know what courting is? It's like wooing, okay? It's like when animals are ready to mate. That's what courting is. And that's what I found to be very abrasive from that, and silly from that defense.
Does it hurt you to think that you played a role in some way of
Yes.
helping the judge? Talk to us about how you feel in that sense.
Well, I'll be forever remembered as that guy, basically who took down the judge. That's why I get all these hate mails and comments on my blog now. You're going to get your day. I can't wait until the day you die. Some lady said, I've had people say that, I have a criminal record along with my parents. Where do they come up with this stuff?
And I'm sure that was never your intention, to see the judge have to step down.
No. He's the best judge she could have gotten. And he's the best judge she could have gotten. I don't know why they did this. It's not like, even let's say I went over to the judge's house, okay, which I didn't. But let's say I did, and we shot pool together. Well, we're not sitting there talking about, what do you think about that motion? We're not discussing the case anyway, if we were.
While you were at lunch last week, did you discuss the case at all?
Where did I have lunch?
I'm just asking, tell me, did you,
No, I'm not, no, I'm a diabetic. I got to eat certain food at lunch.
What's that mean?
Well, that I normally don't eat at restaurants, so.
Tell us this. Do you find it curious that all of a sudden the defense has a problem with the judge? If the defense had a problem with the judge, why wouldn't they have brought a problem up a long time ago?
Well, he said that in his ruling. I did get a chance to read it, He said, this happened in October, for crying out loud. Why are you doing this now? And I think it's all because of Cheney Mason. I got to do something with this laptop to get it out of the rain.
I'm a little nervous about your laptop.
Yeah.
Why don't we try that again?
Are you getting...
I'll ask the question again. But just talk to us a little bit about the...
Okay, sorry.
The timing of this. If they had a problem with the judge, why bring it up now?
Because Cheney Mason is on the case. And I wouldn't be surprised if there's some kind of a conflict of interest. I don't think the judge had any kind of a problem with Cheney Mason. But why wasn't this filed before he came along?
Well, what do you think?
I think he's got a problem with it. I mean, what kind of an attorney would sit there and say, "Don't you trust me?" and put that in front of the judge?
Well, who knows? Maybe it's a get out of jail free card.
I mean, he's got this is kind of bad here.
Okay.
It's on your head.
I guess, who knows?
Oh.
Maybe it's a get out of jail free card. Maybe it's one of those things where they can say, you know what, we're going to look at anything to get this judge off the case. We're going to use this so we can say in the appeal process, anything that happened thus far in the case, the judge was biased.
But the thing is, they know the judge. You know what I mean? They don't know the next judge like they know this judge. They've had time to study with him.
In the appeal process, they can still go back and say, hey, she didn't get a fair trial.
He made that ruling, let's try it again.
What do you mean?
You become a scapegoat.
Oh, I become a scapegoat,
You become the get out of jail free card. I'm saying it kind of gets, I'm looking for your thoughts on this.
About
possibly being a scapegoat, about possibly...
Well, down the road.
Yeah,
No.
for an appeal.
I don't think so, because I think that when you have a new judge, is going to take a fresh look at the motions that have already been filed and responded to.
That's all fine and well.
But the judge is going to look at them and say, well, there's nothing wrong with this. No, I think if Judge Strickland, that's one of the reasons why he recused himself, is because it takes away part of that onus. That they're not going to be able to appeal quite as it's going to be more difficult, I think. Don't you agree?
Well, let me ask you a question. Go ahead, give him the question.
No, I'm trying to make you understand in a way that this case has been going on for a long
20 months.
time. Right. You know how long it's been.
Yes.
I sure know how long it's been going on. There've been a lot of motions filed in this case.
And yes.
Once it goes to trial, once it goes through, if she is found guilty, she can appeal this case. They can always come back and say that judge was biased.
Well, I think that there's an automatic appeal if she's sentenced to death anyway.
Sure.
Okay, so that's a thing that will automatically happen, regardless of whether this judge did wrong or not. So,
have you gotten death threats since you got this motion? This happened this afternoon. Have you gotten death threats?
well, not direct death threats. It's more like somebody's going to find you. Somebody's going to come by your house. That sort of stuff.
Are you concerned for your safety?
No, but I am. No, not really. I mean, anybody that would do something like this, I mean, then they lower themselves beneath what Casey's being accused for.
Have you talked to Judge Strickland this afternoon at all?
No.
Are you going to file a criminal complaint? Because death threats are criminal.
Well, let me see where it goes. But I think that what the judge wrote, the judge wrote in his ruling that he did what he felt was the way I wrote. He complimented my writing, that it was fair. And
do you think blogging is muddying up this case?
in some cases, yes.
Do you think you might want to stop going forward?
No, as a matter of fact, a prominent attorney, his wife called me and said, don't you dare stop. And I was kind of like really down today because I knew, this was probably coming. We all sensed it. And I was really down, and she called me up and said, no, don't you do that. We spoke for about an hour. I'm not going to tell you her name, but you know who she was if I told you. So, I mean, that was very nice of her to do that.
I think I'm good. Is
Anything
there anything we
else you'd
didn't
like to
have?
add? Yeah.
Well, let me see. Well, I'm not going to quit blogging. I'm not going to stop that because I think that I've written very fair. I don't know if you've ever read any of my stuff.
You try to, yeah. I think it's clear to see. Try to have both sides shown.
You wouldn't say that you're pro-defense or pro-prosecution.
No, even what the judge said in the ruling.
Say you are pro-prosecution.
But you know what? I wouldn't let anybody call Baez Bozo. I wouldn't let anybody call Cindy and George by funny names. I wouldn't let any of that nonsense third-grade stuff go on my blog. And the same thing is, it's not a forum to come and bash that family. And that's what a lot of people do on different blogs.
So real quick, are you pro-prosecution or pro-defense?
Well, I was probably more middle of the road than I am now.
So what are you now?
Well, I'll tell you, I love to write, and I'm going to have a few choice words for this defense.